You crack me up. Hey, it's Permar.
What's that? What do you mean?
Filling in for Joe, obviously, because I had this whole radio bit idea to start with a text message.
Okay.
From you.
Yes.
Because, I send you stuff and you're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no, wait a second. After this state game, you're like,
you started sending me stuff on like Friday, Saturday, like prepping for it. And then, we have a state game. I mean, we have UNC
missing two guys.
Without two guys. Yeah. And then things look good. Then all that state stuff happens. And I was like, none of this other stuff matters. Let's go. We're taking calls, and that's the whole show.
I had this whole radio bit prepared, and then you show up.
Oh,
you're like, your hair has been taken care of.
Yeah.
You still have a beard, but it's at least managed.
Yeah. It's not hanging over my lip.
And I think this jacket is quite amazing. It's a great tie. Go Pirates.
Professor Permar look.
Yes.
Not go Pirate. This was with State.
Sorry, the caps.
With State Carolina tomorrow, I felt the need to be like neutral.
You're media neutral.
And Purple Haze, might have political aspirations and likes to play down the middle. So let's keep it purple.
And I don't know this, but your wedding ring, is that one that you can change out to match outfits, or is it always purple?
It's always purple.
Okay. I was going to give you a little bit of extra credit.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not that
okay.
Not that savvy.
So I had this whole radio bit planned, and then of course you got it.
Well, I got, not directly accused of disrespecting the podcast, and certainly not by Ovius or
that guy, other guy.
Alex Nunnally.
Oh, me. Not me. Alex.
You weren't here.
Fuck you. You weren't there.
But there were so many people that mentioned it. It was just proof that it was unplanned. I just jumped off the couch and threw on my homeless jacket and whatever, just came down here after a UNC buzzer beater win over Duke. But in going back and looking at it in retrospect, I probably should have shown a little more respect to the pod and, maybe thrown on a shirt, not instead of just like pajamas or whatever it was I was wearing. So I thought I'd make up for today with the Professor Permar look.
Okay,
there we go.
Well, you're amazing.
There we go.
I thought I would make up for today by thanking our friends at Empire Properties, Empire Eats. Go hit up the Morning Times. There's few things in downtown you can really count on. Actual downtown, not where you are in the Greater 5 Points area, sure. Right? I got that right.
Yes, we'll talk about the 5 Points area at some point on this show.
More so than the Morning Times. So
yes.
Please go. Big thanks to our friends at Empire Eats, Empire Properties. And of course, we're always brought to you by Copiers Plus for all of your document needs. I don't know about you, I'm getting a bunch of tax documents from our sponsors that require me to scan them and send them to our guy who handles our taxes. So I can't do that without Copiers Plus. Maybe your small business needs the help of Copiers Plus. Well, easy enough. Copiers-plus.com. Hit them up. We always thank them for being our corporate champion. I got here today in the new Chevy Equinox 2026. We're going to have to talk about this.
New ride.
Yeah, in Hey Joe, about new cars and cameras and heated seats. And oh my gosh, all these the sensor on the mirror.
I've never owned a car newer than 2010, I don't think.
Yeah. I figured with that truck of yours but your wife potentially.
Yes, I drive her, or I'll drive my mom's car. But like, dude, I feel like an old man. Like stuff beeps at you, or like when brakes start kicking in on their own sometimes, and I'm like, whoa,
buzzing, and like, hey, you're in the wrong lane.
Like it. Yes, I do not like it. I am an old man in the car, so yeah, we could talk, but I will be anti-technology.
Big thanks to our friends at the Heister Automotive Group. It was a super easy process. Shout out to Josh over at the Heister Automotive Group, handled us. And it was one of those deals where I went in, I had a budget, and he picked out a bunch of cars for me. But then I was like, hey, can I look at the Trax? Hey, can I look at the Trailblazer? No problem. Took him out, drove him. And he, honestly, I'm saying this as he had no idea who I was.
Oh.
Okay. Now, of course, I was in contact with Bennett beforehand, but Josh wasn't like, oh, you're the podcast guy. It was like,
you're going to
normal.
Talk about us, so I'm going to treat you better.
I'm here with my wife, and she was the one making the decisions, of course, but it couldn't have been any more enjoyable car buying experience for that reason. Like, hey, I know you went out of your way to find me these 4 other cars, but would it be okay to look at these other models? No problem. Took them out, test drove them, no issues at all. So great experience from our friends. It's HeisterAuto.com.
Most important question, real quick.
Yeah.
What color?
Black.
Nice.
Black.
Nice.
So that was a win for the Giglio family. They can set you up and have a win yourself. And I mentioned our taxes. to begin this program today, I would like to thank Brassfield Accounting very specifically and our audience. Nothing gives me greater pleasure in this experience than when people support the people who support us. And that's Brassfield Accounting, brassfieldaccounting.com. Great note. Woke up this morning to a great note from Chris saying, hey, we had someone reach out. They're using our tax service. I just wanted to let you know the ads are working. And I was like, perfect. That's how it's supposed to work. But as you know, it doesn't always work that way. Yeah. You want to keep the people who make this show possible happy. So please, if you're a small business, again, and maybe you're an individual and you're like, oh man, it's February 16th, clock is ticking. And I'll tell you this from firsthand experience.
Second time you brought up taxes.
I know. I'm not trying to do. I know you have to do monthly taxes.
No. You just stress me out in general thinking about what I need to be doing. Like I'm like, let's stop talking about it.
But I need to. And you don't have to talk about it if you hit up Chris at brassfieldaccounting.com. Now, here's the thing that I'll tell you. My first year in a small business, I did not have a person who could take care of us, and I tried to find a person. And most CPAs don't want anything to do with you, because it's a year-long process. You got to keep track of your receipts. You got to reconcile all of your invoices. Like, it's a whole process. Chris is saying, fine, we'll take it on. We'll help you. We realize if it's not, we want to have a relationship with you on an annual basis, but we're willing to help solve that problem for you right now. So I'm just telling you as firsthand experience, A, that's a great email to wake up to. And B, it really is unusual that you'll find a service like Chris. And not just for taxes, but of course, he can be your fractional CFO, take care of all of those grants potentially that you have here in the Triangle. So big thanks to our friends at Brassfield Accounting. Now, let us begin this program the way that I thought we were going to begin this program.
I mean, you were sending me stuff about baseball, Winter Olympics, which obviously is like relevant, but it was like,
And now,
the other thing I got to ask is in the agenda here, it says we'll start with calls. And I'm like, is that ref calls or phone calls? Because it can go either way. It's probably both. Probably phone calls about ref calls if I know my sports fans of the Triangle well.
Let's see. This came yesterday at 6:54 a.m. from you, right? You were that? No, this came from you at 11:56 p.m. on Saturday.
Yes.
After me. Why are you pretending like we're not going to do 2 hours on all things UNC and NC State basketball?
Yeah.
We're playing. And then 2 minutes later, we're playing OG sports phone calls, right?
I wouldn't put it past Ovius to be like, hey, I'm not there. It's like, can we hold the calls from the state game until Tuesday when I'm back? I'm like, no way. Those have to be released today. And you know what? You'll get more before tomorrow because then you'll have the UNC game that night. So
let's do it. Let's play the hits.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
All right, obviously, we're going to get knee deep in the weeds about this NC State loss to Miami in a game that they led by 7 with a minute left. Yes, sir.
Point of order. Which one of these buttons is the Will Wade sheet? No, I won't hit it.
Oh, I have it over here. We'll find that. We'll find that. But let's start with a phone call because, sometimes you need a completely rational take.
Just a terrible fucking loss. The kind of loss that'll have Will Wade packing within 2 fucking years. He is not long for this NC State job. You cannot do that. They had 2 chances to inbound the ball at the end of the game, draw fouls, and totally fuck it up. I'm so fucking pissed right now, and I'm tired of his fucking shtick about winning instantly. It's total fucking bullshit. These are the games you were brought in to win. Now you're going to get butt fucked by Carolina on Tuesday night. Just a terrible fucking loss. The kind of loss that'll have.
It's hard to tell because he was dropping F-bombs, but I think that you had looped back to the beginning there.
So, curse or don't.
Yeah, happy Monday.
Whoa.
Happy George Washington's birthday.
Probably should have said, hey, guys, there's a warning on today's program.
We're coming.
Hey, even sometimes I blush at these calls. It was Valentine's Day, though, on Saturday, which I know, happy Valentine's for all those who celebrate. Yes. Great day. Certainly for that one NC State fan.
That's going a little far. He's not going to be there in more than 2 years.
Hey,
I'm not seeing that, but I do respect the anger.
That's a raw call, obviously.
Is that walking to the car? Hopefully.
Well, funny you say that.
Keep it going.
Jack from Raleigh here. I just watched the end of that game, and now I've got to go sit in the car and go to Valentine's dinner after watching that. Thank God my wife is beautiful, or I'd be in serious trouble. I cannot believe that we can't inbound the ball in clutch time to just close out a basketball game. Gary Williams killing us with a technical and killing us with a foul. Like, just man up and play D and close the game out. I cannot believe it.
So, some Valentine's days were ruined, as we got from, I think it was Paul who said, is there's somebody shit on the Will Wade sheets tonight. So here, just for you.
We're fucking on the Will Wade bed tonight.
Obviously, that was not the case on Saturday. So let's go through this a little bit. NC State ends up losing to Miami after having a 7-point lead with 1:07 left in the game. So they're up 76-69 in a game, quite frankly, that a lot of things went Miami's way. Yep. Particularly in the first half. Like there were a lot of like wonky bounces. There were a lot of foul calls that you were like, are we sure? Like, and yet somehow NC State has a lead at the half, and yet somehow NC State has a lead at the end of this game.
Thanks. Was it an 11-0 run to get to that?
Yeah.
I mean, they looked like they had totally
after the
taken
technical,
control. Yeah.
After the Darian Williams technical, they go on this run. They take control of the game, and you're like, oh, okay, they're gonna win the game.
Yeah.
They found a way in spite of themselves, which, you know, that was a gold watch game, as I like to call them from Pulp Fiction. It was a gold watch game. You lose by 41, you got to have a little bit of pride. You got to hunk the metal around in your ass a little bit and bring it back home and say, hey, guys, now's the time where you got to show what this is all about.
Sure.
Okay. After losing to Louisville on Monday, I expected NC State to win this game on Saturday. They were certainly well on their way with a 76-69 lead with 1:07 left in the game. So you're thinking to yourself, well, how does this happen? Off the top of your head, you say, well, the only thing we can't do is foul. And the other thing we can't do is turn the ball over.
And I'll add missed free throws. Even after
normally you would miss free throws. They didn't even get to the free throw line to miss free throws because they continued to turn the ball over.
Yes, but even still, they were up 2 with however many seconds to go, and Copeland goes to the line for a 1-and-1 and misses the front end. So, like, even after all of that, he could have made 2 free throws and it's still sealed, even after bumbling through the last minute, you know?
So 1:07, 76-69, can't turn the ball over, can't foul. Next possession, Darian Williams fouls a shooter and one. Now it's a much more manageable 76-72 with 52 seconds left. Now, here's a question that's been bothering me all weekend. Well, first, let's do this. Obviously, they lose the game. And obviously, Will Wade is upset. Again, I would be upset if I lost the way that I did against Louisville and my team doesn't come out and win the next game. We could be playing the greatest the KD Warriors. We could be playing the 98 Bulls. I don't care. After you get your ass kicked the way that they did on Monday, you have to respond a certain way. Have to. And for the most part, you could sit there and say, well, they did, Julio. Yep. Right? But Will, after this game, this was not what I was expecting from Will Wade after the game. And I get it. Like, he's an emotional guy and he wears his emotions on his sleeves. And there was a lot in this press conference that he got into. I'm not going to parse through the entire press conference because I really do think he gets in his feelings after these things. But this particular part where Kate Rogerson over at TVD had asked him, how he'll get over this Miami loss, because Will has made a great show this season of being like, man, that Georgia Tech loss, man, like he's turned it into a radio bit, right? Like how he can't get over the Georgia Tech loss. And I think Kate, who's been at these games and realizes every game he talks about Georgia Tech, basically asked him like, okay, well, how do you get over this? Because at least Georgia Tech, you didn't have this big lead and lose it in the last minute. I'm skipping the first portion of his answer here to get to the part that I feel like hit me the wrong way.
It's disappointing, but it's kind of who we are. And so I've tried to embrace it. I kind of rode the wave when we were winning. It really wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, but I just kind of rode the wave because we were winning. And I knew when you start playing tougher competition, that stuff doesn't work. When you play tough physical teams, that stuff doesn't work. And hopefully, I guess if you're asking for, maybe they'll realize that some of what we say, is when you get in these games, all that stuff makes a difference. And we have very poor attention to detail.
Well, I missed my own clip here, and that's fine because Ovius is not here. I didn't like the part where he called his own team soft, and that's kind of our identity, is we're a soft jump shooting team. I did not like that, and I'm going to tell you why.
Could he be fired for cause for that? Could a college coach?
Yeah.
Well, no, sorry, that's later. That's later.
Yeah. Yes, it is later. I'm going to tell you why I didn't like that. There are times when it's your job. It is your job there are times when it's your job as the coach to put your team and help your team win the game. The final minute up 7 is a time when it's your job as a coach where you have to help your team win the basketball game.
Correct.
I said the same thing about John Shire in the Houston game in the Final Four, and I'm saying the same thing about Will Wade, and they're very similar in the sense that you have to call timeout, settle your team down, draw up a play, and get the ball inbounds.
And have the people you trust the most touching the ball at those times.
And you also just have to settle your team down. You have to coach your team down. I'm not suggesting that coaches can make shots. Man, Cooper Flag going to the basket. If it goes in, John's a genius. It doesn't go in. We're having these conversations to this day about how he managed the end of that Houston Final Four game. Matt Abel drives down. Maybe he hits a 30-footer at the end of this game.
Right.
Will Wade's a genius. They don't call a foul at the end of this game on Darian Williams on a play that did not look like a foul.
Yeah, I didn't see.
Then Will Wade's a genius,
Yep.
right? So I'm not trying to absolve that. I understand that. That's part of the process. But as a coach, okay, your job, there are games where you have to win the game for your team, or you specifically have to put your players in a position to win the game. Will Wade did not do that on Saturday. And
keep going.
I'm rolling here.
Sorry,
So
keep going. Sorry,
this is the time for you to be quiet.
You do it. I was going to agree with you.
Okay. Number one, the inbounds plays, you got to calm them down. If you don't want to use your timeouts there, then you have 2 timeouts after the imaginary foul call. Okay. After the imaginary foul call, which I'm just calling it out right now. I didn't think it was a foul. You send a guy to the line for 3 free throws. You have 2 timeouts. He makes the first free throw. After he makes the second one, either you call a timeout after the first free throw.
I swear, I saw him calling a timeout. I think he was saying a timeout after the shot. I thought I saw him calling a timeout before the third free throw, which I thought was the move.
You either call a timeout after he makes the first free throw, or you certainly call it after he makes the second
one. Yes.
You do not let him sit there clean and bang down 3 free throws to potentially win the basketball game.
Absolutely not.
That's a dereliction on his part. Okay. The press break. I can understand teams that don't press. Virginia, famously under Tony Bennett, the pack line defense, right? We don't press. So you know what you don't do in practice? You don't practice against the press. Teams who press every single day against the press. Will Wade's teams press. There's not one single excuse for them not to be prepared to break a press. You see it every day in practice. Basic 101. Don't throw the ball into the corner. Okay? So that's a coaching dereliction on his part, that your team's not prepared to handle a press. When you're a pressing team, the timeouts. Okay, fine. You don't believe in icing the free throw shooter. Okay. Well, now you got 2 timeouts. Welcome to the triangle, Will Wade, because everyone's got a memory here. Dean Smith, if he didn't invent it, believed in having 2 timeouts at the end of every game because you keep one to get the ball to half court, then you call timeout, then you set up your play. That's what he believed in. Roy Williams, man, he'd have stacks on stacks of timeouts. Roy still got timeouts in his back pocket that he's waiting to use. So fine, if you have 2 of them, let's use them. The final play now to Matt Abel. Again, if he makes a shot, Will's a genius. Doesn't make the shot. Does not a great look. The final play, when you have the ability after a made basket or a made free throw in this instance, when Miami, Jay Lucas rightly puts a defender on the out of bounds play, you have to screen that person to give your inbounds thrower the ability to move and get a clean look at a good pass. Also, the other thing that can happen with 3.7 seconds left is you have your screener flop and get a foul.
I was going to say
and get a cheap foul.
And you're thinking the refs might be willing to give you one after the couple of things that had just happened.
Again, another coaching dereliction.
You put yourself in those positions.
So here's what I would have wanted to hear from Will Wade after this basketball game. And I get it. It's emotional. I get it. He's with these players all the time. He's with them in practice, as he pointed out after the game. Hey, I knew in practice this was going to happen. Fine. I get that. He's super emotional. Here's what I would have preferred after this basketball game, especially at this point of the year, knowing with what comes up next. That's on me. I messed up. I needed to do a better job of putting our players in a better position to win this basketball game. If you want to do your Shakespeare in the Park, you want to do your bullshit with Darian Williams that you did with me, now was the time for that. Hey, don't you put this on the players. They poured their guts out. What a response from my basketball team after we got our ass kicked on Monday. We should have walked out of there with a win. That's 100% on me. I make $5 million a year. That's my responsibility. I'm going to have my team. I'm going to do better, and I'm going to have my team ready on Tuesday night to beat North Carolina. And you get up and you walk out. Okay?
I'm down with all that.
That's the way. That's what I wanted to see after that final minute sequence. And that's, like you said, you're sitting here watching it going, okay, now, is he going to call a timeout and break up these free throws?
A couple things I would have.
Are we going to call a timeout and set up a play? So these are all things that I thought of that are confined within this game. Okay, we'll get to the bigger picture, but just you're because we have some actually good calls about this too.
Yeah. Well, to your point,
productive calls.
You finished exactly what I was going to say. Of you're talking about your team being soft and you let it go during the wins. Like, this was a win with 1:07 to go. You had your team.
7. You're up 7.
Your team had a 7-point lead in 98% of basketball games. Your team has done what they needed to do. Whether I'm not disputing what you see in practice, or if you want to call them soft or a soft jump shooting team or whatever, but that soft jump shooting team had a 7-point lead against Miami, an NCAA tournament team, according to
Patrick Stevens. All of our people.
Yes. Especially after, that was before the UNC win. So So
no, Miami's a good team. They're in that bucket. Louisville and State and Clemson. SMU.
7 points in a league game on a big Saturday
at home.
Your team mostly got you all the way there, and yes, it was the wrong time to talk about them being soft. It was the right time to talk about you letting it slip away. So couldn't agree more. All
right, let's take a couple more calls that are actually not as harsh as the first two.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
My wife and I were at the game tonight, and I swear that last minute felt like we were watching a rec league basketball game, the way that game was coached at the end. Not only did we finish with 2 timeouts in our pocket, but we turned the ball over multiple times with our senior throwing the ball into the corner. It's like 5th grade basketball mistakes. And man, Will Wade has got to coach better down the stretch. For the years he has of experience, you can't be holding timeouts in your pocket at the end of a game when you got your team floundering with a minute left and 7-point lead. Less than a minute and a 7-point lead, you got to win.
And here's another one. Very similar.
Somebody tell Will Wade that timeouts don't carry over to the fucking Carolina game. When a team has you in a trap and you look totally discombobulated, no shot, no chance, no idea what's going on, call timeout and settle the team down. Blew a 7-point lead with 50 seconds left. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I didn't like the shade being thrown at rec league coaches. I know many great rec league coaches who would not have made those mistakes. Shout out my guy, Carr McClam, coach of the Lakers dynasty, playing in the semifinals tonight in the Raleigh City League. He would not be thrown into the corner. He would not be not using timeouts and letting his team crap their pants with under a minute to go. So I don't need shots at take a Dave Doran shot or something if you want to make fun of coach.
Hold on. Leave poor Dave alone. Leave poor Dave alone.
Housekeeping.
All right, housekeeping is brought to you by Inovana Green Cleaning Solutions. Check them out at inovana.com. Tomorrow's Tuesday, which means they'll be at the Ovius Estate But they always have time for you. So again,
Wait, I thought they were there every day. I thought that was
it's usually just every Tuesday.
okay.
So
All right.
check them
So you
out.
can't book them on Tuesdays because they said all of their workers are out there scrubbing the outside, everything. Yeah.
We have an event coming up at the Longleaf Swine. There's always parking on Edenton. Go check them out. They have great weekend specials. I am truly missing out because I go on Thursdays and Fridays. Those are my 2 hotspot days at the Swine. They got great food during the week. Don't get me wrong. Adam and his social team posted these pictures from the weekend and what they do with their brunch and some of these things. They had a tortellini. First of all, I'm a tortellini person, but it was a pork stuffed tortellini. Like they were the bigger one. Like these were.
I got you.
What? It's Adam just cooking it up over there, man.
Good stuff.
So check them out, longleafswine.com. You can actually order from them for the week if you do it by Tuesday and pick it up over in the Greystone location. So check them out, longleafswine.com. If you're not that close to downtown, can't get over to all that parking on Edenton, go check them out on the Greystone location. So we have a great event coming up there. It's called the OG Light Bracket Night. There's a link below where you can buy tickets. It's a Monday, okay? Monday, the day after Selection Sunday. So it's March 16th. It starts at 7 o'clock. It's $50. And I know what you're thinking, Gilio, $50. What are you people doing to me? You get a meal, which is a buffet. You get, if you're 21, you get an OG Light. And you get bracket advice, not only from our nonsense, but Mitch and Mia. I mean, there's money to be made in women's basketball. Let me tell you.
Sure.
And those two really know what they're talking about. So it'll be a fun night. So come hang out with us. That's Monday, March 16th. Starts at 7 o'clock. It's at the Longleaf Swine. 7 o'clock, $50. You get a meal, you get a beer, and you get a lot of basketball advice. Hey, man, if you just want to fade me, that might work too.
Sure.
That might work too.
That is the Monday. What time do you think y'all will be wrapping up?
Probably 9. It's probably like 2 hours, I would say.
All right. You might be able to make it into the, there's a less publicized Rialto Calcutta that might be taking place that night.
You're infamous.
Yeah.
Calcutta. Hey, we have an After Dark on Tuesday. That's tomorrow. State and Carolina are playing. We will be live at the Lenovo Center. So please check us out.
I mean, that can't crash.
Yeah. Well, you can break in here and get on camera over here now that you know how to use everything. That's brought to you by our friends at Bloom and Blinds. Check them out. OVS uses the worst font in the history of the world, so I can't read it without my glasses. 919-980-9815. 919-980-9815. That's Bloomin' Blinds, no G, bloomandblinds.com.
I'm going to defend OVS here. That's you just being old. I can read it perfectly
You could?
fine.
Okay. Yeah. Get 10 window treatments or more and get 10% off. Just let them know you came through the OG. Let them know, please.
Yes.
So big shouts to our friends at Bloom and Blinds. We will be live tomorrow at after the NC State and North Carolina game. Now, insert opportunity for you to promote the Rialto.
Oh,
and I say this knowing you have the Titanic coming up.
We have it's just Titanic, the name of the movie, not the Titanic.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I will shamelessly plug things we're doing in hopes things that we just did in hopes that you think we're so cool that it doesn't matter what our next event is, you'll just come do it. Guess what we did at the Rialto this weekend? We had a local singer named Kate Rudy. She played. She is awesome. She's got just an incredible vibe. I'm surprised more restaurants weren't closed because she knows she has friends. She works at a great restaurant. The owners of that restaurant were there. Other people were mad they had to work that night. They couldn't come see Kate Rudy. Obviously, Valentine's Day, she came. She brought her own decorations. She has this whole team of people, like extra cookies. She made little gift sets. And then she had this idea. She actually was a little short of voice that week, so she was worried about completing the whole set. She brought a special guest, Tiff Merritt, Grammy-nominated artist.
Yeah.
And then she was like, hey, could we do something, whatever? And I wasn't even in there for this brainstorm. I love a good brainstorm, throwing some ideas out. But when I walked in, Jade, my partner at the Rialto, and Kate were discussing the potential of doing a kiss cam.
I saw the kiss cam
live
on your socials.
And we did it, and it was awesome. We asked consent of everyone. Kate had everyone consent before we started. We had a very progressive kiss cam. We had all kinds of people kissing all kinds of people, old people kissing old people, people kissing their babies, men kissing women, a dude kissed a guy and then a girl on the other side. It was just all kinds of kissing going on. So that's the type of night that you can have at the Rialto. You just come and you might end up in the kiss. I was super, as a sports guy, I was like super proud that we had pulled off the kiss cam. on short notice. So it made for a good night. But yes, check everything that we got going on. Got a great music lineup coming this spring, including our boys Chatham County Line. That was just announced. That one's in April. But so go get music tickets. We got a lot of shows coming up. I don't know if you knew, spring is here. If you didn't know, you will know basically tomorrow and the rest of this week. It's first spring, or it's fall spring, but it's spring weather, which means the music's about to crank up the Rialto. So come check us out.
Spring is here, but it's always a good time to refi. It's always time to go see if you can get lower all the credit card debt and all the nonsense you might have going on in your life. In order to do that, check out our friends at Miller Lending. That's MillerLending.com. To pick on Ovius, he always puts it in the top left, so I can't read it. MillerLending.com, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Austin Herbert's going to help you. Carry legend, carry high till I die. Impin' ain't easy. But getting a no-cost closing loan is by checking them out at MillerLending.com. Now, you're going to say,
real
go
quick.
ahead. Yeah.
Did you know do you know why I don't have credit card debt?
Your dad told you
that to not get a credit card.
Yeah.
I've never had a credit card my whole life.
I don't know how you've done that. Quite frankly, that's awesome. Well, welcome to the rest of the world, though. Like, you are the exception. You are like one of one when it comes to that.
Yeah. Are you done? I've got a piece of housekeeping after you're done with all your housekeeping stuff.
That's kind of you not to mess with my money. I appreciate you. But I'm still going.
Okay, keep housekeeping.
Because it requires attention and there's no order to these ads. Let's find the Matt Davis slide while I try to find the Matt Davis slide. All that money that you could save with Miller Lending, take it to Matt Davis because he can help you with financial planning. Matt Davis is at insuregarner.com, insuregarner.com. Give him a call, 919-779-8277. I'm in his house. There's life, pet, you name it, all kinds of different insurances. But Matt really can help you out with his financial planning, which obviously this program needs a lot of. Apparently Hayes doesn't because...
No. Trust. I still need a lot. Okay. I have to... When you have to do things like not doing a thing that most normal people do just to save yourself from... Because if I had a credit card, I would have unreal amounts of credit card debt. But so it's a preventive measure.
Amazing discipline. You took me to a great trophy pizza place in your neck of the woods, which was Roanoke Park.
Trophy Bicket, they call it. But yes, it's right there by Roanoke Park.
Okay, I'm starting to get my 5-point area
that's right.
better.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe you want to live over there. Maybe you got a couple dollars laying around because you probably need it.
I think there's a house or two for sale over in our. There's some new townhwnhomes that just got built right there by Trophy Bicket.
Amazing location. I love that location. So the easiest thing to do, hit up our friends at Hometown Really. myhtr.com. That's myhtr.com. You can buy and sell with confidence. And then, of course, if you're going to close, you're going to need someone to help you close. Well, maybe you're a small business and you need some help with your any kind of legal assortments. Knock on wood. Go to wh.lawyer. That's my friends at Whitaker and Hamer. wh.lawyer. They can help you with all different closings and small business, family, you name it, any kind of law. They've got it covered. Also, they're the home of Shady's, which is where we will be celebrating our third birthday, May 2nd. That's a Saturday. We will have a matinee start that day because Jonathan Rand is getting married that day.
This is just trouble zone. I've been hearing y'all talk about this, and this is just a recipe for disaster. Especially like poor Rand. I'm sure he's going to have like all the nicest people at his wedding. And then you guys are going to come in hot from Shady's.
Yeah, that's going to be slightly problematic. We're going to see how long I can go without drinking.
You know what?
I'm still recovering from the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you know what wedding move I've actually picked up on years is when the service and the reception are not in the same place, is stopping at a bar in between. Being early to the reception is just because I like to be there when the party kicks up, and usually the party is going hard till the end. But if you go straight from the ceremony to the place, even if they are like serving us something, a little food, like you might be there for 4 hours or whatever. So I do like a little stop off, let the family take their pictures, and then I'll be there at the reception when it starts cranking up. So maybe I'll see you at Shady's.
Okay. NC State wasn't the only ACC game on Saturday.
Hold on, I got to do one thing real quick. I told you.
Yeah.
For the interest of the show, did you know that we have made this an OG Live today?
I did, yeah.
Okay. I just, other people seem very pleasantly surprised.
We'll get to our fans here.
Okay, I was like, maybe I'll let it go long enough that it's too late to change it. And so I just wanted to, I think it's a great day to go live after the NC State game. But my last thing I do have to ask before we go to UNC, I don't like to get deep into calls, but I was sitting next to a State fan at Trophy Bickett on Saturday night. He was like, I recognize your voice. And I was like, yeah. He was talking about the calls. We talked about the 3-pointer. What did you think about the technical on Darian Williams?
I mean, it seemed like there was more than one person involved in that scrum. So I was surprised that it was the only technical called.
That would seem to be the sentiment on NC State radio when I was listening to it. When I saw it, it was a close call, but I actually think that one was the right call. Just one tech. Because he didn't jump on Darian Williams the way that I heard some people describe it. And Darian didn't do himself any favor. Like, he could have done the leg kickoff. And some players do this of like acting surprised. Oh, I had no idea I was going to, instead he had the I'm ready to fight face.
Yeah.
And I think the refs saw that. Almost like the dude, did you see the Providence St. John's?
Yes.
Like that dude who had the hard foul. With his hair like that, it was like you're getting the max, whatever it is. Like Darian Williams' face earned him a text, whereas the other guy got sort of pulled away before he could do anything else. So I thought that was good, but I still need to see a replay that shows me a clear foul on the 3-pointer that into the game. I did not see a clear angle. I thought we could have gotten more replays.
That was the Oklahoma City-fication of basketball that I hate so much.
Yep.
I don't like foul hunting. I just being a free throw merchant, I can't stand that shit.
Okay.
And
I just wanted to hit on those because I know people are talking about
Steph Curry changed basketball for the better, in my opinion. Yep. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has made it worse with the crap that players are now emulating. And I see it at high school. I've watched pretty much every Garner high school game this year, and I see it at every single game. All the younger players see it and want to do it. Drop the head back.
Yep.
I can't stand it.
I don't like it either.
Stand it. Now, all right, UNC beats Pitt 79-65. We knew Caleb Wilson wasn't going to play at his left wrist / hand in a not a hard cast, but more of a splint / soft cast,
heavy wrap, even.
Yeah. And I think one thing is important to note with Caleb Wilson, and Carolina does this kind of intentionally. It's not nefarious. It's still intentional though. They overshare when it comes to injury information because they don't want you to think, oh, we're hiding something from you. So, but if you read their original release on Caleb Wilson, he suffered a fracture in his hand. As someone who broke his hand 3 different times in high school playing basketball and football, there are a lot of bones in your hand that you can break. Some of them more important than others. Okay. Like the really long one that runs from your thumb down, like that's not one you want to break. Right. But if you break one of these in here, which I'm guessing is what happened, he broke one of them in here somewhere, right? Given that there's no hard cast, this, that, the other.
OG on medicine.
So we'll get more. We expected Caleb Wilson not to play. Henry Vessar, though, not so much. And I love people who cover Carolina because it's such a throwback. They're there 2 hours before the game. They're watching warm-ups. Vessar's out there, and Shelby Swanson and R.L. Bynum and everybody over at Inside Carolina, and even Adam Lucas. They're like tweeting out like, "Oh, Vessar's out, but he's not wearing. He's out, but he's sitting on the bench. He's out, but and it was like now all of a sudden, and there's a new injury report, and he was on the injury report, I believe, as questionable.
Okay,
so. I mean, there was a lot of drama on Saturday surrounding whether Vessar was going to play or not. Minutes before the game, it's announced he's not going to play. All right. You're old enough to know all of this. There is a Dean Smith rule. And that is Dean Smith was famous for a lot of things, but he famously said he did not like playing another team the first game after their star player was hurt because he knew the rest of the players would come together, raise their level, and play harder because they wanted to prove that they were more than just that one star player.
Can I say one thing about that real quick? I would bet if we took a poll of your audience and say, what is that called? Who gets credit for it? Do you know what it'd be? I love that you refer to it as Dean Smith and you're around long enough and you knew that he says it. Do you know who most people attribute that to?
No.
Bill Simmons, they call it Ewing theory.
No, it's the Ewing theory is Ewing theory was they lost Patrick Ewing. He got hurt. Oh, you're right. He got hurt, and then they went to the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Okay.
But most people would take just what you described. Maybe Dean made it more specific to a one-game thing. But yeah, I love that you don't, and that you keep it local. That's why you guys are the best. But other people would be like, "Oh yeah, Ewing theory. Bill Simmons invented that." It's like, no. Reporters were covering, and Dean probably didn't invent it either. But like that's how we in the Triangle first may have heard it prominently.
If you would have told me before this game that Seth Trimble would have 19 points, play really good without Caleb Wilson, I was like, yeah, sure, I get that. Jaron Stevenson, right? Like, hey, he's got a bigger role. There's no Caleb. He's playing the 4. Maybe it's his natural position. I would have been like, cool, yeah, I get that. I did not have Zayden High with 15 and 7 on my bingo card. Did not. I will just flat out admit that right now. How sustainable is that? Is he going to play? Is Vesser going to play against State on Tuesday? I mean, I suspect Vesser will play on Tuesday.
I think he will.
I don't think Wilson's going to play on Tuesday.
I don't think he will.
I still expect Carolina to be able to play certainly at a high level against NC State, because horses for courses, what a terrible matchup. But first, I just wanted to give Carolina credit. I called this. I told you what was going to happen in this game other than Zayden High. And I'm not saying that as some sort of super genius, because literally it was Dean Smith's rule. Okay. Now you might say Pitt's not very good. I get that. They're 2-11, but this was one of those no-brainer games though for Carolina, which quite frankly, they need more of. First half, completely, totally assertive, go out there, win the game the way that it's supposed to be played. I had zero problems with this. The fans were actually like kind of pumped. It was like a really cool atmosphere over there on Saturday, because it was like, hey, let's see what happens without these two guys. And it was a great energy there on Saturday. So all marks to the Tar Heels for the way that they took care of business.
I meant to give credit to the State crowd too. They were awesome. Obviously things fell apart at the end, but that sounded like a very, very raucous.
I wasn't there on Saturday.
And I think even the radio broadcast mentioned it, and some people who went to the game said so as well. The key to the game for UNC for me was just seeing the ball go through the basket, right? Hitting those threes early in the first half. Zayden High, I think, made his first shot. It was like a little, baby hook or off the glass or something. And he's one of those guys, he knows when he comes off the bench, he's only going to be in for like a minute or two. And you see when he misses a shot, it's like, he always seems a little tense. And I think Bogovac and Stevenson hitting their first threes. I mean, they hit their first, I think you said this, they hit their first like 8 shots or whatever. Zayden High just making a shot seemed to put him at ease to do everything else without like overthinking or trying too hard. I think that's what would have tended to happen. Like our stars out, if we, start out 1 for 10 on our shots, even if we're playing well and they're taking the right shots, it's going to get worse and we're going to keep getting tense up. They were allowed to be at ease because they saw the ball go through a couple times. And they know Pitt is a team that, whether they're good or not, they're coming for UNC. And so I think just getting a lead on them allowed them to play relaxed. And that was the big difference, instead of being like tighten up, like, oh, maybe we really were just Caleb Wilson and his groupies. So yeah, they looked good. Yeah,
Pitt has been a thorn in Carolina's side and Hubert Davis's side in particular, going back to, Jason Capel and Jeff Capel, the brothers. Jason went to Carolina, Jeff went to Duke. They've kind of taken upon themselves to call Carolina soft every time they play them. And Pitt usually has a little bit of a tougher team. Yep. They play with a little bit of an edge. And so I kind of thought that was a good thing for Carolina to play Pitt and to be focused and play the way that they did in this game. What does it mean for Tuesday?
Not a lot.
I don't think it means a lot for Tuesday for this specific sense. And now I want to get into this for Tuesday because, quite frankly, we've let the administrations at NC State and North Carolina off the hook for this game being a one-off game this year.
Ridiculous.
I texted
ridiculous
both sides before the season, and I said, so you're going to schedule a non-conference game, right? And Clint Gwaltney handles the scheduling for UNC. He's like, why would we do that? And I was like, well, because for the last, 9 million years, you guys have played a home and home with your actual rival. Like, what?
1 year.
Your blood rival. Sorry. I forgot my own verbiage. Your blood rival.
When did you move to the Triangle? 93.
Spring of fall of 93.
Believe it was 91. A State Carolina game was canceled because the war broke out.
Yes.
Right? I feel like with this, like the 1950s, whatever. I remember when a war started, and we all had a war broke out, so we canceled the game that night. And like in the middle of the season, what are we going to do? They played on back-to-back nights. That's how important it was, people. We're playing back-to-back. Like coaches don't even like to play the like Saturday, Monday, except now they use as an excuse of like, oh, that's what we'll do in the tournament. Back-to-back, unless you're in Maui or some shit. Like, no. Like, that's how important the game is. They were going to find a way to get it in. And like, yes, it should be treated with such importance. Can you imagine if they tried to make Duke Carolina once?
Yeah, they wouldn't do that. I get what has happened to the ACC schedule. Please don't. I'm not absolving the ACC for their problems here. Good work, Randy Woodson, by expanding the league and costing your school this game.
I love how you blame
Solid work. Solid work. Okay, that's on you. But what I'm saying is, at the beginning of this year, which finally, now this has happened the last couple of years in women's basketball. They've only played once. Finally, they got together, I believe, this offseason and said, hey, next year we're going to play a non-conference game where we go wherever the game isn't scheduled, we'll go to the other place. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what should happen in men's basketball as well. I'm disappointed in both sides that they can't get together and make this work. So that let me, and I'll tell you why that's important. Because on the administrative level, now you're saying this game, the league starts it by saying this game doesn't matter because you're only playing once.
It's the same as Virginia, Florida State. Whatever, if they meet up, great. If not, no big deal.
Okay, so you have the league saying the game doesn't matter. Now you have the schools saying, no, if we're not going to get there and play, if it's not important enough for you to get together and play in a non-conference setup in November, by the way, is when I'm advocating you do it. Well, no, now the schools are saying this game doesn't matter. So let me ask you a question. A serious question. I'm not impugning anyone's integrity either. You really think Terrence Arsenault, who got here from Houston, doesn't know anything about North Carolina, is at NC State for however many months? He's paid to play basketball here. Darian Williams from Texas Tech is here. Darian Williams, who's from California, then went to Nevada, then went to Texas Tech. You really think he knows anything about the rivalry, the blood rivalry between North Carolina and NC State? Let's use the other side. Poor Henry Vesar, from whatever country he's from, whatever Slovenian country he's from, right? Was that Arizona? You really think he's staying up at night going, oh, man,
NC State.
Let me check this schedule. Let me mark that. Credit to Caleb Wilson. This is why I love him the way that I do.
I know.
He was like State, Duke, and Wake. They're in State.
We're
playing all of them.
Yeah.
So I'm not sitting here telling you the players don't care, but how could this game possibly? Will Wade is new to this. Yes, I understand his wife is a Carolina grad. He probably her whole family are season ticket holders at North Carolina. So there might be some knowledge there, but he's going to get there on Tuesday night and he's going to see a building that he has never seen before. Okay. I feel confident in saying that. LSU, Alabama, or whatever LSU's biggest rival was, that building never looked like it's going to look like on Tuesday night for Will Wade. The opener that he spent a lot of energy trying to sell out and get a lot of people and get people excited for, it's different on Tuesday night. Okay. So to me, you have conference diminishing, you have the schools diminishing, you have all of these new parts as coaches and players. And now all of a sudden it's a one-off game. I just don't know that the people who are participating in the game are going to give it the same treatment as the fans who follow the game. And that is disheartening to follow, right?
Yep.
Because you're taking away a piece of what has made the triangle great. You're taking away a piece of this, selfishly, this show and how we interact with each other, right?
Yep.
Because so much of this season, people have been mad at me because I compare North Carolina to NC State. And North Carolina, with their wins over Duke and Kansas and Kentucky, have differentiated themselves, but they also have some weird losses, right? And when you look at the Ken Palm numbers, and the gambling numbers have changed since Carolina beat Duke, but when you look at it, you're like, okay, I could see where you're coming from. But the truth of the matter is we normally don't have to wait this long. And if they were playing twice this season, I would tell you those players would know by the second game. Oh,
yes.
Shit.
That's what I was going to say. Whatever you didn't know, you'll learn the first time they play, and then it'd be great to play again.
I'm like pre-mad about this game. I'm pre-mad about it. If there's such a thing as being pre-mad, that's where I am. That doesn't mean it won't be a really good game, even without Caleb Wilson. Whoever shows up for Carolina, they're going to play well. There is Hubert Davis. I do think Hubert Davis has enough of a holdover from when he was at school, but really the rivalry had turned to Duke by the end of his playing career. The only tie we really have is Hubert worked for Roy, and Roy Williams really prioritized this game in a way that he didn't even do for Duke.
We've got commenters suggesting that Hubert outsourced the pregame speech to Roy, since like somebody clearly gets
you might as well, because after losing to them in the 2024 ACC tournament game, championship game, maybe you should let Roy fire up the troops. Well, who knows? Maybe the players don't even know. And I'm trying not to be an old man yelling at the clouds here. I'm trying to make a very specific point about how the league has diminished it. The schools themselves have diminished it. So how could we sit here and inspect these players who have no connection to the schools other than Seth Trimble? How could we have anyone sit here and be like, well, there's going to be this blood rivalry. There's going to be this bloodlust on Tuesday night at the Lenovo Center.
This is a little bit different, but along the same vein. And I get that, I don't know everything that goes into TV scheduling and stuff.
Yeah.
But one thing that I think people don't understand about this area, if you're not from it or you haven't followed it, is that like UNC fans, the next game they want to watch the most is a game with State in it or a game with Duke in it, because they want to see them lose.
Yeah.
State, know? So I'm always shocked and annoyed when we have basketball games where State and UNC both have a big game and they're in the same time slot. This weekend was a perfect example of State played at noon, UNC played at 2, Duke played at 4. I may have that. No, other way around. Duke played at noon, UNC played at 2, State played at 4. I'm like, that's somebody recognizing, hey, people will watch all 3 of these games if you give them the opportunity and don't overlap them. But like, that is the knowledge of the area that seems to be lacking in. How can you not preserve 2 UNC-NC State games?
Shouts to Duke for taking care of Clemson on Saturday in the way that they did, because we had Brendan Marks on and he's like, well, they play Clemson next, because he was talking about the next 3 Saturdays for Duke. It was Clemson, Michigan, and then there's another game that they play after that where it's, it's like, oh, that is super. I'm like, buddy, that nothing matters to Duke until they see Michigan. Okay. And now one residual effect from Saturday and the different results, because earlier in the day, Virginia Tech beat the other SMU lost to Syracuse. Virginia Tech beat, somebody help me out here.
Florida State?
No. Earlier in the week, Virginia Tech beat Clemson. And then Clemson lost again to Duke. And now you're looking at NC State's wins and you're going, well, who did you really beat? Is SMU really an NCAA tournament team?
Virginia Tech lost to Florida State.
Okay. That's fine. That helps State then.
Yeah.
That's fine. Well,
they beat Clemson in the week, lost to Florida State.
So that's a wash. But what I'm getting at is their 2 best wins are Clemson and SMU on the road. SMU is playing themselves out of the NCAA tournament. Going into Saturday's game against Duke, I thought to myself, and I almost Gilio tweeted, but I didn't have any shots of Jameson, thanks to Josh Goodson. And I thought of you and Goodson. And I'm like, no, don't tweet it. But I thought to myself, are we sure Clemson's good? Are we sure?
Don't worry, I get that.
Number 0. Are we sure number 0 is really good? Are we sure Clemson's good? And fair enough. I think they ended up with a backdoor cover to make some people happy.
Did they?
But Duke took care of them.
Yeah. They didn't threaten.
And we'll get to Duke, Michigan at the end of the week. But shouts to Duke for taking care of and doing the things that they're supposed to do.
Last thing real quick on Vessar.
But to finish my point about State, and after the game, Will was asked about like, hey, does a tight game like this prepare you for the NCAA tournament? And he went full playoffs. Jim Mora. He went full Jim Mora. NCAA tournament. Like, what are you talking about? We'll be lucky to get to Dayton. Okay. And what he's talking about is the only teams right now that are playing well for NC State are like VCU, who's on a roll and could get an at-large bid. But like a lot of the teams State has wins over. A lot of the teams are not helping them right now.
Yep.
And that's, we're going to do a lot with Patrick Stevens in the run up to Selection Sunday, but a lot of the times it's not just what you do, it's what those teams do after you play them. Seton Hall hasn't been very good since, beating their breaks off of them. Texas is on the bubble. Like, do you really want to be on the bubble with Texas, who's going to have that head-to-head win over you? I know the Clemson thing from 23. Clemson beat you 3 times and didn't get in. You got in. So there's a nuance to it, but I do think Will is onto something with those comments after the game. Like, hey, playoffs.
Vetstar was listed. They said he was sick during the week.
There was both sick and I think he had his ankle wrapped as well.
Okay.
Again, with the oversharing when it comes to Carolina, there's always going to be oversharing.
Well, I'm just going to say, and leave it to the non-serious sports guy to get sophomoric with it. But when he was sick all week, and then for something I thought they had it a lower body injury, but I thought it was like higher than his ankle. I thought they were basically saying he had the runs. Like the injury was like So we'll be seeing if that happens. But I anticipate him being back as well.
Big thanks to the OG Hazen Lancaster Mosquito Authority. Look, he doesn't believe in contracts, but he does believe in saving you money. So check them out. It's bugsbite.com. I know you're not necessarily thinking about the mosquitoes right now, but one thing you should think about with all this rain, what does underneath your house look like? What does the moisture underneath your house look like? I did this moisture barrier treatment with Hayes 5 years ago now. And I have finally gotten everything clear and set. And it's, the number one thing it's helped? My heating bill. Because the moisture's gone, the humidity's gone, and now I'm setting my thing at 67 for real. So I know you're thinking, man, it might be a little starchy. No, you can save money in the long run. So check them out. A lot of different options. Bugsbite.com. And big shouts to our friends at Roback. Roback.com. Use that promo code OG20. And if you're out there and you've had a problem with our promo code, just drop me an email, gilio.joe@gmail.com. I had someone reach out to me and say, hey, promo code was letting me down a little bit. So I have reached out to Roback to let them know. But use that promo code OG20. If you have problems, send me an email. But they're the holiday where you drink a lot with the Irish people, St. Patrick's Day. Their St. Patrick's Day collection is off the charts. That's the Miami one that I have that everyone goes, oh, why do you love Miami? So like, no, dude.
St. Patrick's.
It's St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, you're Italian. That's why they don't get
No. My mom's maiden name is O'Neill. I'm actually half Irish and half Italian. Okay?
Only the good half.
Exactly. Before you sidetrack me.
No, this is on Roback. I'm helping your money.
Okay.
I'm helping your money. Because in fact, I am not a logo guy.
Yes.
I don't like logos. And I heard you guys talking about this, and I'm like, great move, because I love the feel of their shirts. And in fact, it's about time for me to break out my custom ACC tournament Roback that you gave me.
Yeah.
I think I may have been the first one actually to have one. And so I wear that one, but I love the sound of logo, minimal logo, however you described it. I'm just not a logo guy. There's something about even a good shirt. It just feels like you're trying to be in a club like that other people are in. You know what I mean? So I'm a big minimal logo guy. I love that move. I will get a Roback with less logo on it. So
I went to the butcher's market on Friday, and they have crab cakes. I don't know if you know this. I don't know how knee deep you get into the butcher's market variety. The crab cakes are off the charts.
I've heard you've been surfing more than turfing these days.
Salmon and crab cakes. Those were my two go-to moves. And the vegetable medley, reasonably priced and kind of sort of healthy. Like after the Super Bowl, I needed to, figure some things out.
We need a butcher's market in 5 Points. I don't like
the one on Millbrook's too far.
Yeah, I'm actually closer to your headquarter one, but
Lake Boone.
Technically, that's about 100 yards outside the belt line, and you know I don't like to roll like that.
Hey.
I need one that I could walk to.
Well, maybe to Roosters, which is also in the Lake Boone Shopping Center there. Maybe they can convince the butcher's market, hey, come over to Person/Franklin.
With the two Roosters across the street. Yes, I was picturing on that side of the street. I was like, where is it? I don't know about it. Yeah,
maybe they can convince their friends. Yeah, come on down. It's Lovers Month here in February. They have a peanut butter lovers. Which
I got it literally last night.
You did? Okay.
I got my wife.
What did you think?
I love it.
You do?
It's a
not
little
too
interesting.
Not too much?
No, it is not too much. It's interesting because you can tell the Reese's Pieces that are in there, and the candy coating like sort of swirls out into and then so it's almost like these little, almost like a chocolate chip of peanut butter that's the center of the Reese's. My wife got the cookie dough lovers and the Oreo lovers. See, I'm saying these off the top of my head. I'm reading them. That's how I know them. And she ate too fast, and I didn't get to try the cookie dough lovers that I wanted to. So
it's all her fault.
I know. Well, she got a waffle cone, and I got a full-on pint. So I've still got some more peanut butter to go.
Perfect. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's step out of our basketball bubble because there are some other sports going on. We're going to get into those here in the lightning round. And the first thing I want to talk about is the curling controversy sweeping the Winter Olympics.
You know what I love when things like this pop up is how quickly people like take up sides on sports that they have no clue. They've like read the rules for the first time and they're willing to interpret them to you, know? And I'm like, how do you guys get in this deep? But yes, I was intrigued by it. What's your take?
In case you don't know what we're talking about, I think this video will help clear some things up. Let's see if I picked the right one.
Oh, no, I'm not hearing anything.
Okay. Let's find out where the there it is up there. Here we go.
You haven't done it once?
I haven't done it once.
Okay. I'll show you a video after the game.
All right, that's video music's going to hurt us, but so let's try this again because I like the part. So the controversy is you're not allowed to touch the stone with your hand
at all
after you've released it.
Well, I don't think you're supposed to touch the stone
only
at all. Only the handle. That's where it's like, to me, it's like clear. If there is a rule that says you can't touch the stone, it looks like that guy's breaking that rule.
And so the Canadian curler is releasing and then using his finger to kind of point it. And the guy from Sweden is like, hey, buddy. And what I appreciated the most was the byplay here. So let me see if I can replay it and get it right.
You can fuck off.
You haven't done it once?
I haven't done it once.
Okay. I'll show you a video after the game.
I'll show you the video after the game.
Dude, he knew he had
him. And that's the part here that I'm really caught up in. So much to Connor O'Neill's delight, there is no instant replay in curling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently there's very little officiating even.
Yes.
It's almost like there's an usher there.
It's like golf.
Yeah.
You got to police yourself, basically, is how I'm understanding it. Okay. So my favorite part of all of this is, okay, there's no instant replay. It's a little bit of word is bond.
There's a sensor somewhere that'll go off if you're touching the handle after there is something there in the game that'll like indicate. And that's part of the reason why people are saying he's touching the stone instead of going back and touching the handle again.
Okay.
So yes, in theory, it's supposed to be, we don't need to police it because everyone's a gentleman and everyone's abiding by the rules.
If they were over in Durham at the curling club playing and there's no cameras on it, this guy's confidence, I would be like, well, man, this is a he said, right? Yeah. Like what is going on here? Sir, you are at the Winter Olympics where they pay billions of dollars to televise, which means there's not only one camera, there are multiple cameras catching you in a lie, a straight up lie.
Well, do you know why one of the cameras is where it is? It was, in fact, some of these are not Winter Olympic angles. Swedish TV went and set up the angle that's catching.
Because they do.
That's how that's how he's like, I've got a video I'll show you. Like, that's not like a NBC feed. Like, Swedish TV knew where to be to like, we're going to finally catch this guy. And I think the Canadian guy is finally catching some heat.
Well, here's his comments afterwards. And I'm like, sir, do you not understand how cameras work?
We're looking forward to moving on from it. To be completely honest with you, I probably could have handled myself better in the moment. My whole life, I've been a little bit like that. If my integrity gets questioned, we're human out there. There's a lot of emotions. No question I could have handled it better though. So I and I know I'm a role model for Canadian curlers. So if I apologize at all, it's to the young curlers around the country that would have expected more from me in that moment.
I'm apologizing not for touching the stone and
But
cheating,
for swearing,
but for not being a role. Like, sir, do you not understand how cameras? And obviously, he's smiling, and they won some. I'm not going to sit here and give you the curling expert.
Yeah.
He's wearing a medal, right?
That I don't know.
It looked like a medal to me that he's wearing.
I think they've just. I don't think it's done yet.
Okay.
I think that was just sort of like round robin, and then maybe they go to bracket.
So maybe
play.
that interview might have been later
Yes.
where they try to catch up with him, but it did look like he was wearing a medal to me.
You could be
and
right.
it's like he's just smiling with this shit-eating grin, and it's like, you cheated. I have more respect for the people who are like, yeah, man, I touched it. I got away with it. I won't do it again. But to act like you're just completely absolved from like, oh, if I'm sorry if I offended you. That was big energy. That was that type of energy, right?
Yes, 100%. And it was Swedish public broadcaster SVT who got that footage.
Mhm.
And now I think the Canadians have tried to be like, you guys are unsportsmanlike because you put cameras in what's supposed to be a gentleman's sport. And it's like,
on
I
you.
can understand that being true if you weren't implicated as obviously cheating here. And I think the refs try to say, well, we can't obviously he's touching. It's like, what the hell is he doing? Sticking his finger out. Like, if he's not touching it, why is he doing what he's doing? I don't like this guy. He's getting out of here. Can I? Do you have other Winter Olympic stuff?
No, that's it for the Winter Olympics.
I will say this about Winter Olympics. And curling is one of the few sports that doesn't fall into the categories that I'm about to describe of why I can't get into the Winter Olympics as much. One is judges. And we had a judging controversy, and it seems to be BS of like, Frenchman helping his own people. And so any sport that's done solely on judging, I get, we talk about refs' effect on any games, but like the fans got to be able to see that team scored more. That team hit more home runs and struck out the other dude more. And so sport judges, I don't like judged sports. I like to see one guy beat the other. Similarly, do you know how boring track and field would be if you had, okay, next up from the United States, Timmy Smith, go run a 100. Boop. All right, he ran it in 9.6. All right, Usain Bolt, go run a 100.
I see what you're saying.
Boop. 9.4. Like, watching these skiers go and just trying to beat a time is not nearly as compelling as a sport where the people are racing against each other. And there are some ice racing or the long distance skiing where they're like all against each other and you have to react to what the other person does. That to me is more sporting. Whereas all the bobsleds and all the luges are just, you're not seeing them race against each other. They're just racing against the clock. And that's why in general, Winter Olympics, all of those sports where time trials and judging diminish. You're doing great work. You're a great athlete. You're doing things that I could never do. But in terms of what I want to watch, I need to be able to see that team or that person was the best or beat the other team. And Winter Olympics just doesn't have a lot of that for me. Hockey, yes. Curling, yes. Couple of the racing things, speed skating, but most of it is judging and single participant, time trials.
The NBA All-Star Weekend has concluded, and I think Sunday's format of a three-way round robin between European players, old NBA players, and young NBA players salvaged what was otherwise a disappointing weekend for the NBA and their prospects.
Yeah, I didn't see anything cool coming out. I'll be honest. I told you we had a great show Saturday night and a kiss game on Valentine's Day at the Rialto. So I wasn't compelled by the 3-point shooting contest nor the dunk contest. And I didn't hear, normally those things you're like, you'll see the 4 greatest dunks or you'll see the performance of the guy that made 19 threes in a row. And like, there wasn't a whole lot. David Lillard won, right?
Yeah.
And,
well, the dunk contest was comically bad.
Yeah. There was just nothing.
To make it worse, Mac McClung on the socials released 4 new dunks at the same time as the dunk contest. And all 4 were better than anything that we saw at the dunk contest, including the Jackson Hayes, where he tried to emulate Michael Jordan and took off, which is still impressive, by the way, from like the circle. instead of the foul line.
Yeah.
And like somebody posted them side by side, like, oh man, what an amazing dunk contest. And I'm like, no.
McClung stunted on the dunk contest.
He did.
That's
He
that's
did.
unfortunate.
And then you're right. Like Dame Lillard tears his Achilles. Wait, what is he doing? He's like, I'm gonna go and beat you all in the 3-point shootout.
That's
you got these amazing young guys. I guess the sophomores versus freshman game wasn't that appealing. They showed the attendance for the All-Star Saturday night. It was abysmal. It was like 10% full. Abysmal. And then the game itself, people were like, oh, they don't care. They don't do this. They don't do that. There's one person who's changing the NBA, and he's going to change the conversation that we're about to get into about somebody else too. It's Victor Wembanyama.
Okay.
And he set the tone early in the first game from the World Stars against the old guys with a couple of blocks. Like, hey, so the format this year was you played a quarter between, it was 3 teams. They each played a quarter. The final 2 teams played 1 quarter to win the whole thing. And the young team led by Anthony Edwards is the one that ended up winning. But the first 2 quarters that were played were actually lower scoring than most normal NBA quarters, and the first 2 quarters were decided by game winning buzzer beaters. So you can't ask for much more.
Sure. Do you think that it was more about some more dudes committing to playing hard, or the actual format? Like if
a little bit of both.
If it had been a normal All-Star game, but Anthony Edwards and Victor Wembanyama had said, guys, whatever
It's our
team I'm
time.
on, we're trying to win it.
I think it's a little bit of both. Like I do think there is this growing sentiment in this country in particular. Like, hey, it gets questioned a lot. Like, are you still basketball's our game? I know Naismith's Canadian, but basketball's our game. Okay.
Same way flight was first in flight is North Carolina. It matters where it happened, right? He's Canadian, but he invented the game in
Springfield, Massachusetts.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's our game.
Yes.
Okay. So you hear a lot about what we do wrong at basketball, yet we continue to win gold medals, and people act like, well, we're being lapped by everybody else. Cool. And I get it. Jokic, Doncic, and Wembanyama really are spectacular, but last time I checked, they're not on the same team, which is always my complaint with the Ryder Cup. Hey, man, go get your own fucking team, okay? Don't give me your Spain, Italy, and whoever else bullshit, all right? Get your own team. So basketball definitely gets there. I think it was more of that, like, hey, and some of these older players, I like the dynamic of the older U.S., versus the younger U.S. too. I think that was a nice little wrinkle.
The only thing about that one is it feels like the older guys, and I saw, that's the only part I saw was the 4th quarter, and they looked a little bit more laid back going. It's almost like they don't want to get caught trying hard and losing. They'd rather be like, well, the young guys are going hard. They want it so bad. Like Anthony Edwards, let him have it. He's going for it. So I feel like you're never going to get a great effort when they're divided up old and young, because they're gonna be like, what if we don't want to try? LeBron and KD don't want to look like basically the old USA Olympic team, and then they try their hardest and still don't win. By not trying their hardest, they can still say, yeah, I'm still better than those guys.
The lightning round.
Well, everything is local. So first, shouts to Pac Pro John Tesh for the live performance of Round Ball Rock at the All-Star game. But second, the real winner from the All-Star game wasn't anyone who was actually in Los Angeles. Rather, the greatest of all time, who cemented his case.
That's right.
Michael Jordan. Oh, not basketball.
We need
no
a 7th ring, baby.
Not basketball.
We need a new episode on The Last Dance. We need an 11th episode to talk about Jordan's new career.
So Tyler Reddick won the Daytona 500, and you're like, Tyler Reddick not really ringing any bells, Chilio. Well, it's neither for me either. But his race team is owned by Michael Jordan.
Yep.
So now Jordan gets, as you say, his 7th ring.
Yep.
Even if you don't get rings for winning the Daytona 500. For winning a championship.
Can I be a little bit conspiracy theorist here?
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan recently went after and apparently had a very good case against NASCAR. I won't get into the details, much like Canadian and Swedish curling. We'll cursorily touch on them, and you can tell us what we got wrong later. But it was kind of equivalent to like how people hate that Live Nation and Ticketmaster are the same company. So they are owning basically they own the venues, or make it so that if you buy tickets, they also run the venues, and it's a huge monopoly, right?
Yeah.
Jordan was trying to break that up. Or like NASCAR owns the tracks, and so they can create all these different things, and you can't compete, and all these different ways that they can basically suppress your team and keep it themselves. He won a pretty major settlement. I don't know exactly how much money he got from it, but it unlocks some of the rules that they were looking to, of like breaking up the full control that NASCAR has over the teams and makes it harder to do or whatever. Again, there is someone else that will be able to explain that better than I am. But is it a little suspicious that there's like $1 billion lawsuit going on, and then it gets settled between Michael Jordan and NASCAR, and then in the first major race of NASCAR since that settlement, Michael Jordan's team wins? I'm just maybe it was that part of the settlement. Was that help NASCAR not get sued again? Maybe keeping Jordan happy. I don't know. But conspiracy theory wonders if something is
so. What I'm gathering though from this win on the social medias is this cements Michael Jordan as a competitor. Look, man, as our old friend Joshua Trey said, no, yeah, he's got 2 Olympic gold medals too, don't forget. And he won the slam dunk contest twice. Like everything he does, he wins, glosses over as an NBA owner. So we add that with how LeBron James is playing this year, and you have a lot of people going, see, see, he really is the greatest of all time. Debate's over. It's amazing that Michael Jordan has found success in this new pursuit. I think that's awesome. Good for him. Like, and all the people that he's disrupting NASCAR. That's cool too. But are we really going to do this thing now? I'm going to try to streamline this argument for you. Okay.
Are we having a LeBron versus Jordan? Let's do it. Oh, hell yeah. We are officially on radio. What is this, July? Come on.
I'm going to streamline this for you. Okay. LeBron James is a better basketball player than Michael Jordan. He's bigger, he's stronger, he does more things than Michael Jordan does in the game of basketball. I say that as he is, in my opinion, unequivocally a better basketball player. If my life was on the line, though, and I was picking one person to represent and be my team, if we played 100 times, 100 times, I would pick Michael Jordan over LeBron James to be on my team. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yes, there's LeBron's size is just something that is just alone tough to contend with.
Size, athleticism, skill, longevity. These are all things that work in his favor. I also believe that LeBron played in a more difficult era. Michael Jordan didn't play against international players. Arguably the best international player at the time, Tony Kukoc, was on his team. Okay. Yeah. Now, the reason we have so many good international players is because of Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
Yeah.
But his first 3 titles came at a time where NBA expansion diluted directly his competitor in Detroit. Okay.
Yep.
So these are all things that can be all true. All right. But what I will not stand here and listen to is using the end of LeBron James's career against him, but just hand waving and yada, yada, yada-ing the Washington era for Michael Jordan.
Or all the years he didn't play.
I'm okay with those. Right. What I'm not okay with was the final dance. Was this entire, it was a documentary allegedly about the last season, but was obviously turned into a biography about Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to act like the Washington years didn't happen. Okay. And look at his numbers from those Washington years. Now compare them to the numbers that LeBron James is putting up.
Years or just one?
I think it was 2.
My head.
I mean, look, it's been whitewashed from history. Yeah. Either way, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
My point is, I can look it up, but fuck that.
Yeah.
My point is, if we're not holding the Washington experience against Michael Jordan, we're not using anything from this year or potentially next year against LeBron James. Okay. Sure. I'm not here for that argument. As I said, I've advanced my argument in the cleanest, clearest possible way that I can.
Sure.
I bring this up, though, because of this. I do believe Victor Wembanyama has the potential to be better than Michael Jordan.
Interesting.
I do. He's got to stay healthy, obviously.
That's my big fear. For
but he's a completely different type of player and with a skill set that we've just never seen before. Honestly, we've just never seen it before.
But do you think it's very possible that the same thing will hold true where you say he's a better player, but you would still pick Michael Jordan for your team? That we don't know.
He's going to have to play that out.
Yeah.
It starts this year, by the way.
And he's got to win championships.
It starts this year, by the way.
Which ain't going to be easy because Oklahoma City's going to be around for a while.
They seem to have Oklahoma City's number in a small sample size right now in the regular season.
Yeah.
But he's such a force. He's such an eraser. He's so different than anything we've ever seen. Like if he is on the floor, and I just don't see any way around it. I am still mad retroactively because I had a bet on it that the Spurs did not take Con Knippel with the second pick. Can you imagine right now having that type of shooter just for him to kick to?
Yeah.
Lights out. Forget it. Good night.
Don't take my Con.
I know. I know. So the floor is yours while I look up Jordan's Wizards.
The only thing I'll say is it was cool to see somebody who has achieved so much, has so much money, has
two seasons with the Wizards.
Okay. Well, I would have bet you being right over me. I just in my head he only played one season. Jordan seemed genuinely giddy at winning the Daytona 500.
Yeah, a new challenge, a new thing.
That part is just cool to be like, you care. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you want, and who cares. So now, the only thing, the crown jewel that he's missing is that Big Rock title. Mm-hmm. And I remember when the year that he did bring in a Marlin, he didn't win, but he looked legit happy then, too. Or he won something, or maybe got third. I don't know, something. But he was celebrating then. If he ever wins the Big Rock, he is going to be celebrating like it's, a seventh NBA title. The dude just likes to compete. So, yeah, respect.
This program is known for Joe Ovius' technical expertise, his ability to talk about the media industry, his ability to keep this show on track, right? That's Joe's contribution. My contribution is I like to come up with some ideas and some tenets and some axioms. And, college basketball is a year-to-year proposition. Nothing happens in the triangle in a vacuum. If you're going to die with your fastball, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, we don't need to hit all my hits right now, right? One of my personal favorites, though, that rankles the UNC sort, because they don't understand how I'm saying it. They take it as, you're just saying we're lucky. That is not what I'm saying.
I know where you're going.
What I'm saying to you is if something good can happen to Carolina, it will. Well, Joe, could you just give us a smidge? Maybe an example. I'm glad you asked.
This was unreal.
The college baseball schedule and season started this weekend. Carolina was playing Indiana, Kyle Schwarber, right? Big Ten, not exactly known for its baseball programs, but Indiana is one of the better ones. And they were here.
FBI needs to look into this.
In the triangle, which you can now bet on college baseball. And, well, let me just present without further commentary what happened at the end of this game, because, well, I'm not quite so sure that it was on the up and up. Unmute. Here we go.
Bases loaded. Sowers, bouncing ball right side, gloved up by the second baseman. He threw it wide. He threw it short. He threw it away. One run, and here comes the second. French to third. Sowers stops at second. And about as routine of a routine play as you will ever see from Aiden Stewart is anything but. He threw it away, and the game is tied.
First of all, that's a great call. Threw it wide, threw it short, threw it away. That's a great in real time call by the ACC Network Extra guy. That's great.
He missed that throw in so many ways.
So for those who are only listening today, Carolina was down 3-1. There were 2 outs in the 9th inning. The bases were loaded. It was a routine ground ball to the second baseman. Not even a move left, move right.
Fielded it cleanly.
Just pick it up and throw it.
It's not bobbling.
Didn't have to rush. There was not like some speed merchant barreling down the first baseline.
No player near him.
And it wasn't like a Steve Sachs or Knobloch yip.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a yip. It was just to pick it up and like throw it in the dirt. Like
it was like
it's like he had a stroke. It
was like 50
while he was trying to throw the
first pitch. Yeah. It was I watched it the second time. The first baseman I swear he's slow reacting because it's like he almost didn't. It's like that must have been a rock, and you still have the ball in your hand or something.
Yeah.
Like he stood there for a second before going to get it. Like, wait, that could not have been the baseball that just went over there. Like that couldn't have happened. And then it kicked in that like, yes, the throw was that bad, and you will need to go pick it up. I mean, that was just unreal.
So they tied on that play, and they ended up winning it in extras. So hey. Good to see the Diamond Heels off to a good start to the season.
All right, well, how do you square? How do you square things like the Belichick hire?
Because it's if something good can happen, it will. The if is the big wide chasm that can be driven through. Then that's how I manipulate it. But you got to think of it too. Like if it truly is a karmic equation, you get in the universe. What you get out of the universe, what you put in. So if you have this, clandestine search where you hire a guy you shouldn't hire who's using you as a personal ATM, well, the universe is telling you, hey,
there's nothing good that
nothing
could happen.
good.
There's no if.
Right?
There's no if.
But my guy Roy Williams, he was always well intentioned. Yeah,
sure.
Loses a game on a buzzer beater that 1 year. The very next year, that buzzer beater not only contributed to them winning and motivating them to win the championship the very next year. So all right. But yeah, I mean, you got to take care of your P's and Q's on the other end of it too. If you're Carolina,
the FBI has to at least make a call.
I think so.
You called somebody.
Well, they definitely looked for any suspicious live bets. I guarantee you that.
Yeah,
I guarantee you that.
No, that's unfair to a second baseman who's probably having the worst day of his life. Of like, even if you're gonna rig a game, you
wouldn't wait till there, right?
That's right. It's too obvious.
You can't possibly wait till that.
Yeah.
To get to a lot to get to, lightning round.
We really do have a lot to get into today. So I sent you, these are the two clips that I sent you where you were like, what are you doing? We're not talking about this on the program tomorrow. No, this is college coaches.
Okay.
This whole season has been starting with, well, I don't want to say it was Will Wade was the first because I think he's just one of, but there's been a lot of performative post-game press conferences. Mick Cronin has had some kind of year on this front.
He's the worst.
Danny Hurley has had a bunch of these as well. Doug Gottlieb, who I'm not going to include, has had another one yesterday.
That was too manufactured.
Yeah.
Like when you're banging the table and like you worked yourself up into banging the table, it's like, I don't believe you.
So let's get to the first one. I don't know how much you followed the G League player who went from the G League to Alabama, got a 5-game injunction, played, and then finally was ruled, after all, you can't play, right? And I think for the most part, people understood what it was. It was a naked grab by Alabama to bring back a player who they thought could help them compete for a national championship this year, right? Like, was there really anything else to bringing that player back this year? He was a former player for them.
Yeah.
Played, went pro, got drafted, ended up playing in the G League, and then ended up being eligible for 5 games. Most people just saw it as that. Hey, we're trying to improve Alabama basketball. I don't know the rules, but I'm going to test them, right?
Yep.
Nate Oates had other ideas, though. And I mean, I have been Carolina really should have hired Nate Oates kind of guy. But man, these kind of like detachment from reality press conferences, I got questions.
100%. Like there was an opportunity to help one of our former players out. He was within his 5-year window. He's trying to get his degree. And here's the thing too. My job as a head coach is to do the right thing by our guys, and Charles is one of our guys, and that was the right thing to do by one of our guys. Like I've said before, this is not some mercenary deal with a 23-year-old coming in.
Having trouble playing this, that's fine. I think you got
enough of it.
You got the gist of it, because the key to me was he was within his 5-year window and he was trying to get his degree.
It's not a mercenary deal, just to try to get a guy come back to
Nate. He was trying to get his degree. And then he went on to say about how he lost weight in the G League and they really weren't preparing him. And almost like he was like this Sarah McLachlan, there's a sickly dog in the background. Let's make sure we bring him back and he gets another square meal. And it's just like, just admit it is what it was.
With
you and the curling guy, Nate. What are we doing?
The rules are very up for debate right now, and we wanted to take advantage of that opportunity to put a guy we thought we could help us back on our team. That's what it was. And I mean, you can say that and say you were trying to help the player of like, hey, he's still trying to be the best basketball player and make the most money he can, and he thought by coming back to Alabama, he would get a chance to play, showcase the skills that it's now working on in the G League, and then I assume the young man is trying to get back playing professional basketball somewhere else. But yes, it was not because Nate Oates cares about him getting his degree.
Yeah, he's trying to get his degree. Now, the Jerome Tang issue, let's see if I can find this because the Instagram thing that I found will not play it. So let's see if this is the same one. If you're not familiar, Jerome Tang is Kansas State's coach. Kansas State's been going through it this year. They are
one win in conference play.
Yeah, they're 1-11 in the Big 12. They're 10-15 overall. And when I say they're going through it, they lost to Iowa State 95-61. That game was on their home floor. They lost by 34 points. Then they had a close loss to TCU. Then the game that bothered Jerome Tang, this rant, was from when they lost to Cincinnati, who's also bad, 91-62 again on their home floor. So then he goes on this rant, which I think I have found on Twitter, and hopefully it'll work. And if it does, great. If not, then I'll summarize it for you.
This team has great camaraderie. That's not an issue. The chemistry off the court is not an issue. It's the chemistry on the court. Like they don't always play like they really like each other, but you see them off the court and you'd be like, man, them dudes love each other. Right?
No, that's not it. Let's see if we can't find it. Here, this might be it.
He looks very angry. I bet that's it.
Oh,
just a picture.
I feel like they've scrubbed it from the internet somehow. Because it won't play on the Instagram. All right, I'll try to salvage this by saying he went on a rant that basically said these players, these dudes should be embarrassed and they don't deserve to wear the uniform.
Yes.
And next year they won't be. Most of them won't be here because they don't have enough pride. They don't care. Blah 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 blah. Well, that was after the Cincinnati game. Well, then they get a murder ball machine in Houston on Saturday. And for this game, he actually took their names off of the jerseys.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday, Jerome Tang got fired by Kansas State. And now they're trying to use the post-game press conference as a way of saying he, quote unquote, embarrassed the university. And they have fired him for cause. And he's owed $18 million.
I don't, far be it from me to weigh in on legal matters, but like, I don't think that's for cause, right?
I'm with you. Like
for cause is like cheating or
breaking NCAA rules. Here it is. I found it now. Okay, because it just will be better if you guys can hear
do
it.
Something criminal.
Yeah, I mean, let's try it one more time.
To do this, but this was embarrassing. These dudes do not deserve to wear this uniform. There will be very few of them in it next year. I'm embarrassed for the university. I'm embarrassed for our fans, our student section. It is just ridiculous. We got practice at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and we will get this thing right. I have no answer, no words. So y'all got two questions. So whoever want to ask two questions, I'll answer them to the best of my ability right now. But right now, like I'm like pissed, and this is.
They fired him yesterday.
I love that
they fired him, and they claimed it was because of this embarrassment he embarrassed the university.
The irony of they're saying he embarrassed the university by saying his team is embarrassing the university. That's
obviously they were just trying to get out of his contract, right? Like there's no other reason to claim.
I'm fine to fire him. That's crap. That's a crappy way to handle things, and saying these guys won't be here next year. Like even if true, and even if you're mad, like that's a shitty way to be a leader. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to talk like that. If you want to do the symbolic, take their names off the thing, whatever, But I don't think anything that I saw there rises to level of 4 calls.
We'll see what kind of lawyers and representation that Jerome Tang can find in his life, because I got to tell you, man, I don't see that as a fireable offense. So we'll see. We'll see how that happens. So that was an epic lightning round. A lot to get into there. I'm excited that I bungled my way through the Tang thing because I couldn't quite find it, but hey,
all good.
You know what? We're working on it.
Also, I don't like the way Nate Oates talks. I don't mean the things he says.
It's got a weird content.
I don't like that. And like, I don't want him at UNC specifically
For that
because I don't
accent.
want to have to hear it for that long. I don't want it.
Hey, baby, I hear the podcast calling. All right, Wolfpack and Demon Diggs. Here we go. Let's get out of here on some Hey Joe. Hey Joe, or in this example, Hey Hayes, who did it better, Sports Channel 8 or the Duke basketball account?
Oh, thanks. Wow. Oh, we got the red Jolly Ranchers? Man, every kiss begins with K, did. Man, this is awesome, guys. Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Oh, man, you just made my day. It's showtime already. Showtime Valentine's Day. I like this right here.
You're the one. I'm the one for that's
I'm
hard.
four.
Because like the 14.
You said
Be my boo. So for those who don't have a long enough memory, Sports Channel 8 every year on the Twitters would have Valentine's Day, ACC Valentine's Day. And famously, Mark Gottfried was featured on these multiple different times.
There were some
usually the
bangers.
best ones.
Yeah, Swain. Almost all the credit goes to Ben Swain. A little bit of credit goes to Weather Moose. I would be out there just trying to compete, just knowing that Swain is never going like Swain. Swain would make fun of all things ACC, and every now and then he would take a shot at Duke. But like usually he was pretty protective. So especially like the year after K's retiring, I'm like, somebody's got to, take some shots at like, I remember I did one about breaking up, but we're not going to take a year to do it. I don't need a farewell tour. I will say I did get from some, I don't know if they knew I was going to be on the pod this today or not, but Saturday after State and UNC had played, I got this: reckonings are red, Carolina is blue. Blew a 7-point lead in the last minute to lose by 1. Sucks to be you. So yes. And also, since you said it, a couple people did hit us up and they're like, where are the Sports Channel 8 ACC Valentines? Twitter, it is so miserable what Elon Musk has done to ruin that place. And now there's a lot of people that are off it anyway, but the mere functionality of like being able to click a hashtag and see all the past usages of that, like that doesn't work. The search function sucks. But I did have to go dig up some great ACC Valentines of years past, and then like a picture of Dabo Swinney, and here's the poem that goes with it. We can ride on love's freeway, but don't look at me odd. When I say let's three-way, I mean you, me, and God. I mean, these were picture of Jim, what's ACC Commissioner
Phillips.
Jim Phillips. Tonight I'll play a lawyer representing the Knowles. You be a grant of right while I explore you for
Stop.
These are so good. Or a non-rhyming one, just a picture of Kevin Keats. For Valentine's Day, let's do the ACC standings position. I'll be the bottom. I mean, come on. These were good over the years. Or just a classic Larinaga. I want to be Inya. Like the Inye, the tilde that did or did not exist for Jim Larinaga. We had some fun over the years. I appreciate you remembering.
Okay.
Shout out Swain.
Let's go to some of these comments because I made a surprise OG live edition. So let's see. We've got
somebody said I had an all-time awful take, but I don't
remember which one it was.
Maybe it was about the Winter Olympics. I stand by my Winter Olympics take.
So let's start with Robert Hating Ass Hayes. So some applause there. RLG looking like a dapper assistant coach. Yeah. Bone to pick with you, sir.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So I don't care if people assign your takes to you.
Yeah.
But I got a text from one of my UNC sources on the staff who goes, what is Alex Nunnally talking about? You tell him that we're not fat and we're not this, and make sure you know that I work out. And I was like, Alex, and I watched the episode on Sunday. And I was like, oh, no. I said, that was Hayes. That was do not. I will not let you assign that take to Alex Nunnally. That was Hayes Permar. So he was like, well, you let him know. And he's like, actually, I didn't watch. He's like, my wife was watching. She was like, what is this?
Who are the officials? Is Frederick an assistant coach?
It's on the staff.
Okay. It's. I feel bad.
We're not rehashing this take. We are not. We're moving on. Okay, let's find something else so I can get you off of this.
I like my assistant coach is hungry, skinny.
I know.
Hungry.
That part of the take is fine. From Paul, a Carolina fan, I know. Is Will Wade not the coaching genius we all thought he was? Can't be. Yeah, listen. That final minute was not great. I just don't think there's I don't think there's any way around avoiding criticism there. Again, Paul, UNC and State are playing 4D chess and just making sure the ACC gets another team in the tournament. Yeah, you are welcome, Miami.
Could be helpful.
They swept State and Carolina this week.
I meant to say this earlier. Thumbs down to the Miami players who were going around taunting the State crowd afterwards. I don't know if you saw it.
I did not.
And thumbs up to, is it Jay Lucas or Jai Lucas? I don't even know.
I think I say Jay.
Okay. Jay Lucas wanted none of it. He saw his players doing it and immediately, even before to go shake hands, was like, guys, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So I respected that move by him.
Big deep cut here from my guy, Steve Young. Joe out here bitching about fonts. Yes, because State fans are mad about this font. They don't like it, and it's used now for university branding. There was also a slight social skirmish over the official NC State baseball account no longer goes by Pac-9 because likely the school would like them to be called NC State baseball.
All right.
And they debuted these uniforms that were kind of hideous with the Adidas trademarked NC State font. So yes,
I won't believe the Pac-9 thing is a controversy until Will Wade addresses it. And he's like, well, we tried to keep it Pac-9 over there in baseball, but they made us change it.
It was all baseball's fault. All right, let's go back to the OG sports phone for a few more calls. I'll play the Drake jingle instead. Here we go. This is from a 336.
Hey guys. I'm calling from the panhandle of Florida, thankfully far away from Miami, by way of North Carolina, of course. But what was that? I have an empty space in my house that does not have anything. I sat there. I stood there. I occupied that space for 5 minutes. I walked outside, called my dad, who's an NC State grad. And he just basically told me that no matter the coach, no matter the players, NC State shit always happens. But I don't know what he's going to do. There's a lot of times in the first half, second half, where you see Darian Williams, Quadir Copeland making these little key turnovers, lackadaisical, maybe off a bad pass. It happens, but just kind of little ebbs and flows like that. A game that had a lot of lead changes and just couldn't take it home. I guess we'll see how it comes Tuesday against, the boys over in Chapel Hill. But anyways, you'll have a good night and happy Valentine's Day.
Good close.
On a high note.
Now, I played that one because that was not NC State shit on Saturday. Yeah, it was a bad foul call or non-foul call, but that's not the reason they lost the game. There were still ways to win the basketball game.
Sure. Well, I don't feel
NC
like
State's just
debating.
dead. Okay.
Well, I didn't feel like getting in that debate.
2024.
Okay.
That's our official stance on this program.
I'll stick with that. I'm
There
fine with
are questions about Darian Williams, so here's another call.
Hey guys, it's Drew from Apex, first time caller, long time listener, State fan, unfortunately tonight. Just want to call and say how frustrated I am with Darian Williams. I've tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, for the season. Started out hot, seemed like a calm and collected guy, but my frustrations with him have just finally boiled over at this point. Just stupid mistake after stupid mistake. A guy at his level shouldn't be getting a technical going after a guy with a loose ball. fouling a 3-point shooter at the end of the game. Like, it's just, I'm just getting tired of watching it. It's just, paying this guy so much money, shouldn't be making these mistakes. I just don't think he's the leader that we thought he was going to be, and unfortunately, I just don't see this team making a very deep run in the ACC tournament or the NCAA tournament at this point if we make it under his leadership. So, love the show, guys. Good work. Bye.
Darian Williams is, he's not the player that everybody thought he was going to be at the beginning of the year when he was voted the preseason player of the year.
That didn't help him. That every time this gets brought up, it's ACC preseason player of the year, Darian Williams.
And then, of course, the way that Cameron Boozer started the season and Caleb Wilson started the season, nothing happens in this triangle in a vacuum. So
I always say that.
When the Duke player is hot, you're like, well, we got one of those because we have the preseason player of the year. And then the Carolina player is hot. You're like, well, it's okay. We got one of those with preseason player of the year. He has not performed at a consistent level at the same way that Wilson or Boozer has. And he doesn't have Wilson's personality. He doesn't have Boozer's. He has some of Boozer's skill set, I believe. He certainly doesn't have Boozer's confidence.
Yep.
And he's an unusual player in the sense that when he runs hot, you're like, wow, that's what he could be. He's not overly athletic, and that's his biggest problem. And the biggest problem with NC State this year is the construction of their roster. And that is you're relying on two players who are similar in skill set in their strength. In Kadir Copeland and Darian Williams, their strength is exploiting mismatches and going to the basket. That's their strength. Williams is a much better shooter than Copeland, but he's not the leader or the personality or the energetic or the fiery type player that Copeland is. So I think the train has left the station on Williams being the leader of this team. Copeland is.
Yes,
that doesn't
100%.
mean you can't have games like SMU where he scores 25 and you go, oh, well, that's who he's supposed to be. Those are going to happen. But it's not going to be like Boozer where it's every game. And it's not going to be like Wilson where you're like, luckily for State, it's not like Wilson because they can win without him scoring and playing at a high level. But the original criticism of being the highest paid player on the team and not performing at a consistent level of the highest paid player on the team, that's something that he has to own and something that I think NC State has tried to work through.
There's a couple things that I would say. It is very helpful in basketball when your best player, which oftentimes, not exclusively, is your leading scorer, if that guy is also your leader, but it doesn't have to be, you know what I mean? And I think that's a little bit of what maybe was the problem with State too, is that you expected him to not only be the best player, but also be the leader. And I don't think being the leader is what he's suited to do best, right? And if it was clear that somebody else is the leader and he could have just been more, hey, yeah, like you're still going to get more shots. You're not the leader, but you're still going to be the key to the offense. I think that could have helped. Then for just a second, going to go super speculative and way backed out view. None of this might be true. And one of your favorite things I like to do, tap into my camp counselor history. I think there's just a little bit of Darian and Will Wade just aren't a great fit.
Could be.
We've seen Will try different things. He, I don't know if you knew this. He, went to bat and defended him real hard in one press conference. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah.
He's called the team, kind of soft or whatever. And sometimes he hasn't called out Darian by name, but it's looked like that's maybe who he's referring to.
Yeah.
So it does look like he's trying different things. Like I've tried to be like, I've got your back more than anybody. Tried to like inspire you, the text early, try to like show him what fire looks like. And at when I was a camp counselor, sometimes you would have a kid in a cabin and the kid was a malcontent and wasn't working. And you're like, whatever. So then the next year you're like, oh, what are we going to do this kid? And then he's in a different counselor's cabin. And it's not that the counselor he was with is a bad counselor. There was just something that was a disconnect. They were not the right fits. And especially when you're trying to create fits that involve competition, we're like, I need you to be a good scorer. I need you to be a leader. So I think there's just a little something that doesn't mean Will Wade's a bad coach or can't connect with players. And it doesn't mean that Darian Williams is a cancer to a team or a coach underminer, but just whatever whether it's their Enneagrams or their ESTJ or those things, whatever they do, they just don't quite lock up. And you don't always have to be in lock sync. It's great when, Coach K has his point guard out on the court doing it, and you can see that's the embodiment. But you need at least some overlap in how we get along. I just don't think there's enough between those two dudes there. And I think that's part of the heart of their issue.
Well, all was not lost this weekend for NC State. So let's hit two bright spots from Saturday's loss to Miami as we get prepared to say goodbye.
Evening, guys. I guess silver lining in for NC State fans could be, I mean, the women's gymnastics team went back-to-back against nationally ranked UNC Tar Heels and beat them. Maybe that helps?
Maybe. Gymnastics.
Could be.
Okay. And finally, since there were an empty trip to the free throw line by Miami.
Well, at least we got free chicken. Go Pack.
That's right.
At least we got free chicken.
No, I made the mistake of trying to get free chicken one night, like after a 7:00 State game, and I was nearby and I saw it like on the thing. I tried to go to Lake Boone. That place was jammed, and they were so mad. They were so. I mean, they had everything was closed down. All of a sudden, they're like, "Wait, what?
What?"
They're all coming straight for the arena for free chicken. So hopefully the 6:00 Saturday there was enough time to spread out the chicken getting so that they didn't get a deluge.
So we're not on the air tomorrow until post game.
Only doing late night.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got a prediction for tomorrow?
No, I do. I had this conversation with multiple people who would say when Caleb Wilson went down, I'll credit Matt Lale. I think he was the first person who told me. He said, it's like, as soon as Caleb Wilson went down, my UNC friend texted me and said, season's over. We won't win another game. And my State friend texted me and said, UNC by 15 on Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like, both just saw that different ways. My prediction is you will not see UNC do to State what they did to Pitt. Could I make it an easy one? I'll take the minus 1,500 bet of UNC doesn't blow out State. Where is it? Sorry,
it's in Raleigh.
Okay,
so
I like
Ken Palm has it at 81.78. It's probably what the gambling line will be. -2 would be my guess for State.
For State,
yeah,
I like that.
Okay.
I like State to win the game, but here's what State doesn't want to do: don't be up 5 points or 6 points with a minute to go, and have the first thing in that minute be something that goes wrong. And as our friend Bomani Jones would say, heavy lemon booty. If State's playing comfortable and all of a sudden, a late tide turns or something that reminds them, oh yeah, didn't we just blow a game in the last minute? That could be a cause for something bad.
I think Vesser plays. I think Zayden High does not repeat what he did on Saturday. I think the law kicks in. I think State wins.
But Ken Palm expects them to do well.
But most people don't.
Okay, that's fair.
Especially after 2 straight losses and Will bad-mouthing them in the press conference.
I'll go if Bogovac and Stevenson combine for more than 6 threes, UNC wins. Otherwise, they don't.
Ooh. Yeah,
six or more.
It's a horses for courses game. Like, State is going to need Matt Abel to play like he did on Saturday with Paul McNeil.
Yep.
Like, one of my complaints from Will's postgame, hey, we're a soft jump shooting team. Well, I got news for you. Like, when he was like questioning their identity, like, here's the thing, man. If you're a soft jump shooting team, then you need to figure out how to play your 2 jump shooters together, which he has not done this year. So, but again, I'll go against logic here. I think State will figure it out on Tuesday because of all of the hand wringing, right? It's all erased by Tuesday. If you win, it's all erased. If you lose now, you better buckle up.
Yeah.
You better buckle up because now the NCAA tournament really does get into play. But these are the kind of games that you need. We'll see how it all turns out. We will be there thanks to our friends at Bloom and Blinds tomorrow night. Join us for the After Dark. Joe Ovius will be back from Buffalo. Want to live in the life of Riley, man. Buffalo and Utah. Like, who doesn't want to? What 15-year-old doesn't want to go play in tournaments in Buffalo and Utah?
Are they playing for a title today?
We'll find out. We'll find out. Tune in tomorrow After Dark right here after the State Carolina game. Appreciate you guys for checking us out on an impromptu live OG.